Actually, you don't need a blind man to tell you that the education in Nigeria has fallen ridiculously. Today on the show, I'm going to be talking with my guest. Her name is. We're going to be talking about the falling standard of education in Nigeria. And we're going to be chatting about how far the education in Nigeria has fallen and how we can, as individuals, raise the standard of education in Nigeria. So, guys, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much.
It's so good to have you. You have just been through life and you've been through school, right? And you have more knowledge about it. So today we're going to be talking about the falling standard of education. Straight into the conversation. If we were to apportion blame as to, who, or if we were to lay down or get to the root as what is the cause of the falling standard of education in Nigeria, would you say it's the government? Would you say it's the parents? Would you say it's individuals like us, like students like us? Maybe we are being lazy and all of that. Or would you say it's the system? Or would you say it is social media? Or would you say it is the times that we are in, generation? What, like, if we're to apportion blame, who would you blame for the falling standard of education?
All right. Well, first of all, I would not like to apportion blame to anybody because everybody has a quota to play in everything. So, family, the government, individuals, corporate organizations, we all have a part to play in the progression of how things should be. So, in trying to apportion blame now, I really don't think that should, like for me, I would not like to apportion blame. Everyone is a stakeholder in the educational system that we have in Nigeria, and everyone, if we have been doing our own job, if everybody, both parents, government, school owners, students, NGOs, like everyone that has one thing or the other to do with the educational system, if we are really doing what we are supposed to do, I think the educational system will not have fallen to this extent. So everybody has something or the other to say. We are all guilty of the way the educational system in Nigeria is right now.
Yeah, for the longest time though, many of us, many people in Nigeria and across the country, we have blamed the government, the system for the education that we have, in the sense that what is the percentage of the budget of the funds that is allocated to education in Nigeria? The last I checked was 5%. 5% of the whole nation's cake allocated to the future leaders of tomorrow. People that are going to be handling the same economy that we worry about, the same agriculture that we worry about, the same health sector that we worry about. Do you understand what I'm saying? So if I'm not saying you should apportion blame now, but like in what ways have you seen that the government has contributed, I would want to say massively, to the standard of education that we have right now? I also remember a time where, or just recently, about a year ago or 2 years ago, where they had to reduce the cutoff for JAM. Back in our days, we know that if you don't read that 100, first of all, you're not going to enter university. So you have to be serious. But now it's about 180, 120, I can't really remember. And what would you say about like how far the government has contributed to the degrading standard of education?
Okay, first of all, I would like to say that teachers are one of the underpaid workers in Nigeria. Like teachers, both private and public sector, the teaching profession looks like it is not promising. Talking about the teacher side now of it, and if and then when we look at the infrastructure as touching the educational system, both primary, secondary, and even the tertiary institutions do not have infrastructure. So it is, like you said, the focus of our government on the educational system is poor. Like I can just say it's very, very poor. Like most times you go to schools, even private schools, because the government do not even have enough, or they are not even regularizing the way private schools actually run their thing. So you see private schools doing things that they want to do on their own. There is no regulatory body looking into what they do, and before it was not like that. Growing up, I know that we have, the school I attended, from time to time we have people coming from the government to come and check us up, and then it put our teachers then on their feet, because the school proprietors then would make sure that everybody is actually doing what they should do. But nowadays, I look at the way school run, nursery school, everyone can even, everybody now has a school in Nigeria. Like everybody, you cannot decide one day that I want to have a school, because people think that school business is a very lucrative business, and there's no regulation to people owning schools.
Yeah.
So they come up with things, they come up with their own scheme. There's, in fact, you look at some schools, they don't have scheme, or they're not using the scheme that the government gives. So all these things make me to understand that the government are actually poor in managing the school system. So, and talking about the student themselves, there is a way that government, okay, before time, the government they have like a lot of schemes that help students, to they enhance the zeal for students to learn. We have spelling bee competitions, that are government based. We have competition, mathematics competition, that competition that government sponsors. But nowadays you see that it's maybe NGOs that
Or
do this
even
thing.
brands.
Yes, just to promote themselves.
Yeah.
But really, the government are not doing anything to they are not doing anything to help
To encourage
the
the
Nigerian system, the educational system in Nigeria. And also, looking into tech now, it's part of something that it bothers me every day, because the world is getting digitalized. You see so many countries outside. They are really stepping up their game in terms of digital tools in the school system. But here in Nigeria, it was surprising that, okay, my elder sister she's a teacher in one of the government schools, and the regulatory body that has to do with computer, that has to do with learning digital tools. They had actually sent computers to schools all over Nigeria. But do you know that they didn't bring those computers to the school? They didn't even bring them to the school on time. Like maybe like the ones they brought are like maybe 2 years behind what they should bring. So it was probably when they see that they wanted to come and check up on them, they quickly rushed down. Most of the computers were not even working. And then I was now wondering that what was now the point? You bought something to help people, and you still kept it, and it is some designated school. Okay, let's quickly just do this so that to save face. And then all these things, it aggravates me, because I'm wondering, some people were the one that actually sponsors this thing, and so because they want to come and check up on what they sponsor, then and these computers, or these computer systems are somewhere, nobody is using them. But why not bring them out for people to use? So these are the various examples of the way our government have been negligent.
Yeah.
Very, very negligent. So there is a poor approach to helping the educational system in Nigeria as touching the government.
Okay, so let's imagine that even the government, let's imagine we are all paid. We are just saying that the government is doing what they are supposed to do, right? The school management itself also has its own, the things that it's supposed to be doing and what not. Number one, I don't know if it's solely the government's power, or if it's solely government's responsibility to be looking into the curricular activities, into the kind of books that we use. Many of the books that I know that students use, especially for tertiary institutions, are majorly books that are archaic. The curricula is archaic. We are dealing in a digital world now. I want to know, why are we still talking about Stone Age? Do you understand? I know that history is important so that we will not make mistakes again. Do you understand? But at the same time, we are putting more energy and putting more resources into what has been done before, instead of looking into the future. And so we expect the graduates to come out and be providing solutions for this future or for the present crisis, when all they have been taught is based off our parents' age, so to say. So what would you say also that the school management can work on or can improve on when it comes to education in Nigeria?
Okay, thank you. So I think the school, everybody, like I said, everybody is responsible in making sure that we live where we are presently. There is like I believe that there are so many milestones to cover up. So everybody is responsible. So talking about the school curriculum, of course, it is still the government that actually regulates the curriculum because there should be a unified curriculum, like talking about primary school, secondary school now, there's a unified curriculum that it's standardized for probably West Africa, something like that. And of course it's something that still matches up with the Western world or the Western schools that okay, students here in Nigeria or primary school students here in Nigeria are meeting up with their counterparts, maybe in India or in the UK, something like that. But it is still something that I believe that if the government can utilize all the resources they have, their human resources, it's not as if they take the right step in making sure that people do the right thing, it will not be done. But when there is no monitoring, when things are not being monitored, then we begin to see lapses. Even the school management will relax.
Yeah.
But when everybody is on their toe, doing what they're supposed to do, then there won't be any relaxation for because we know that okay, this is something that has to do with the future.
Yeah.
Yes. So it is yes, there are some schools that are actually trying, there are some schools like private schools now, there are some private schools I know that they are, trying to, imbibe, the Western world school system, they go online because of course YouTube is now, YouTube is one educational system that is very vast now. So people can now go online to check okay, what are they doing here and what can we inculcate into our own system here. And I think the government should leverage on that. We have a lot of things that we can leverage on here in Nigeria that helps us or help the educational system to meet up with that of the standard the world is. And talking about the university or the tertiary institution, it's still the same thing. Most of our lecturers they go outside Nigeria and they decide not to return because they see a clear difference between what they have there and what we have here. And then I'm wondering that so we all understand that there is something good and there is something not so good. And but of course it is not in their it is a set of people that can meet up, or let me say the governing body of the university can actually sit to improve on the curriculum of our university. Because of course I'm a victim of that. Studying mathematics, I realized that the things I did in school were not even they didn't even prepare me for the outside world in terms of innovation, in terms of technology. Imagine that as a mathematician and still doing things that cannot bring a solution to the issues that we have here, which our counterparts outside are they are so far gone. And one of one of the focus or one of the reasons education should be taken with so much with a lot of vigor is because it helps growth, it aids growth and development. So imagine that we are now doing things that is not aiding that growth and development. What's now the point? So it's as if the point of education is being forfeited because we are not doing the right thing the way it should be done. So I think that every school, the educational system or the tertiary institute, instead of us fighting the government of not paying salaries, they need to really sit down and see how they can actually adjust all every avenue. I remember at the time my mommy used to tell me, because my mommy she's a nurse, and she used to tell me how things were when she was a student nurse, and then she would tell us how some universities then foreign students come to Nigeria to come and study in schools like University of Lagos, like students outside Nigeria. White people they come into the because the standard of education then was very like they could actually put University of Ibadan side by side with University of Oxford and they will not see any difference. But what then happened? What happened? Why there's so much gap between these universities, and every day these universities or the universities outside Nigeria are trying their best to move forward, and here we are. I don't even know if you are stagnant or they are even reversing. Like I don't even know, because it's, it's a lot now. But then I think that if the stakeholders, I mean the governing bodies, would sit down, university governing bodies sit down and say, okay, this thing must not continue. They enjoy the benefits of education. That's why they can, be part of the governing body in Nigeria.
Yeah.
They enjoy both outside Nigeria and in Nigeria. I think they can help us. They can help the younger generation. And then, talking about the issue of jam being with the cutoff of jam being reduced, and it's not even about jam alone. Going into our school system, you are seeing students preparing for WAEC. You see the way they prepare. They are not, in fact, you'll be wondering that are these
Do
people
you have exams? Literally.
because even from primary school, we see some schools helping their students
Yeah.
to write exams from primary school. So what is they've learned to cheat from primary school, secondary school students cannot write exams by themselves. So when they come to WAEC, then they don't even expect to even write WAEC by themselves. So how do you want them to write JAM? So it is because of the failure, the massive failure that they experience that made them to say, okay,
And that has been indulged.
yes, and which is not even the solution at all. That's even far from it. I think if the school system would decide in their mind that we want to go back to the way things were before. Now I'm not saying going back to the way things are in terms of curriculum, but in terms of discipline, I think we can achieve the kind of thing that we are trying to achieve. When pupils can learn to read instead of waiting for their teacher to give them something during the exam.
Thank you very much. This is so good. So on a lighter note now, before we wrap up, I was going to ask, do you think students are lazy? Like, let's be honest. Okay, I know that we have been indulged a lot of times, to be honest. But do you think that we are lazy? Like, on my own part, I would want to blame social media in this generation. We are all about Instagram, creating content, blah blah blah. Every other thing, and the books are so old, they are outdated. The curriculum is outdated. But normally, do you think that students are actually lazy?
Okay, so let me start from here that in Nigeria presently we're actually facing a very big problem that if we don't actually deal with it, it will deal with us later. And the problem is people trying to make money. Now you see young children now, like secondary school children, you see them on their phone, what are they doing? They're tapping. They're tapping coin. And you hear things like school does not pay, or like something like I
School
hear
is scammed.
yes. And then I'm wondering, there are some students they have it at the back of their mind that school is scam. Going to school is a waste of time. Going to school does not really count. And then I'm wondering, what are parents doing? All these quick rich scheme are so much eating into the heart of young people that they don't even want to do anything with their brain.
Exactly.
They don't want to do anything with their brain. They just want to, the easy way out of making money. And then I'm wondering, how did we get here in the first place? So the fact that students are lazy, we should check their parents. What are parents doing in this 21st century? Parents are not even looking into what their child or what their children, their words are learning in school. Gone were those days that you will come back from school and then whatever it is that you learn in school, you come and show your mom and tell your daddy. Parents are not even ready to help their children with assignment. I remember then in school, as a primary school, we finish or we close normal school hours maybe by 3. We still do extra lesson, or we'll do school lesson. Then we'll now do extra lesson. Me and my bag will be coming back to where I'll be coming back home around 6 p.m. Of course, I understand that it's not about packing everything into a chat, but then there was no space to do anything not eat, because by the time I'm back I'm tired. I just want to eat, rest, and maybe go over what I learned for go over my assignment, and prepare for the next day. But nowadays we see parents by the time that children are coming back from school, they go straight to the television and they start watching a lot of Paw Patrol, things that are not educating, and then these things actually encourages laziness, you know. So I think that from scratch, our parents should reduce screen time for their children.
Yeah.
From scratch.
Yeah.
Now, every parent should reduce. If even like I would like to say that maybe during school time, like for a term, there shouldn't even be screen time at all. Probably during the holidays, they can now have their screen time. But I think it starts from there. Parents should reduce screen time. Most parents don't want to engage that maybe because they are busy, so they just put their children in front of the TV,
Yeah.
and that's what is informing them. Children nowadays cannot sit down, okay, do your assignment, and all
The
this
attention span
is very, very low. Now, talking about the secondary school ones, my God, these ones are even, they are teenagers, with a lot of teenage tantrums that they are throwing, and yet you see them, there's no zeal to learn. I remember in my secondary school, the competition was very high. Like you would have the very brilliant ones, and there are ones that are trying to meet up with those ones. The competition was very high, but nowadays, even if you see one that is brilliant, the brilliance itself
You're managing.
like, and then you're wondering because there is this idea of I want to make money. Then I'm wondering what do a secondary school
I know.
13-year-old boy,
I know.
14-year-old girl needs money for. So our attention has been shifted away from what matters to what does not matter. What does not matter here is the money. That is it that you want to build house? Is it that what do you want to
Do you need the car now?
exactly?
I don't know, there is data.
And then and from there they are introduced into a lot of vices that that actually aids the crime rate. These things actually increases the crime rate in our society now.
Yeah.
So I think to come yes, students are lazy because both parents, I think majorly parents here are not doing their job. That is why their students or their boards are lazy. Most parents are not doing their job. Most parents are not doing their job. And I think that for this to actually be caught, parents should actually help. They should begin to be concerned about how their children are faring in school. They should not just expect that teachers will do everything. No, teacher cannot. Their words teacher cannot do everything. They should take up the responsibility of following up on their children, whatever it is that they learn.
Thank you very much again for coming on the show. This was really a good conversation, honestly. And I believe that you guys enjoyed it. If you didn't enjoy it, please do not engage. And I know for sure that can happen, honestly. My name is Victoria Iribande. I have been your host on Unplug. This is the very first season and episode. I've been here talking with my guests around the day at the Bami on the funny standard of education in Nigeria. Don't forget to join in on the conversation. I'll see you guys next time on Unplug.
Bye.